Hey, this is Steve Halleck of TikToking. Find me at TikToking.com and at Steve Halleck on Instagram. And this is the one I know a lot of you have been waiting for. This is the Ressence Type 1H for Hodinkee. This is the limited edition of 20 pieces that was made for Hodinkee, and they sold out in about 15 minutes. And this is my personal version. So, okay. Let's start with Ressence, first of all. Very small brand. Maybe you guys don't all know them. So the founder, Benoit, is actually an industrial designer, not a watchmaker. And he came out with a watch several years ago that really took the watch world by storm. And basically the basis of the Ressence watches, which you can also find, I have a review of the Type 5, are these dials within the dial that turn and indicate the time, right? And also, they don't have crowns. The very, very first pieces had crowns, but ever since then, they don't have crowns. So it gives a very cool effect, super clean design, and always, until now, they've had a full dial, which helps it be even more of a kind of clean industrial design. Now, this piece made, again, as a limited edition for Hodinkee, they wanted to do something really new. So a lot of people, they want to do like a special edition. They just change the color of the dial, maybe change the case material, and they're done, right? Well, Ressence wanted to do something totally different and outside of what they've ever done, because it was a special piece, and so it didn't necessarily have to fit perfectly in the range like it normally does. And so what they did was to skeletonize the entire watch. And you can see the effect is pretty dramatic and definitely changes the look of it. So if you look at like a normal Type 1 online or something like that, you can see kind of how clean it is and how the dials almost blend in to the face of the watch. So you almost can't see where one starts and one ends, especially in the black versions. But here, with the gears, it's much more technical. You have much more differentiation between the different parts. And, I've seen some people actually don't like that. I think it's super cool. And I really like that it exists. Both things can exist. And I have that Type 5 also, and the Type 5 is spectacular for what it is. But it's neat to have this in the range also, and to be able to see kind of what's going on and the depth of it and everything. So let's go through it. Very simple, right? You've got, this is actually a minute track going around, and this is the minute hand. So you can see as the time turns, the minute hand goes around, right? And I'll explain to you what I'm doing to get that to move in a minute. And you can see the gears turning to turn everything. So that's the minute hand. And as that's going, these are the hours, and the hours move. So watch it go from 10, 10:15, 10:30, right? All right. So here is a seconds hand, obviously. And here's a day of the week indicator. Now, one of the nice things that they have on this watch is you can quick jump the day of the weeks, and I'll show you how that all works. So the whole thing is set via the back, right? And you can see here, you can set the time in either direction, but if you go in this direction, the watch actually winds. So as you're going, you can feel like a point where it meets a little bit of resistance, and that doesn't mean your watch is broken. You just go through it, and that's where the winding gears are actually engaged, and it helps wind the movement. It is an automatic watch, but that's akin to giving your crown a few turns just to get the thing started, right? So if you go the other direction, it'll quick jump the day, right? So I'll show you that. We go this way. I have it on Saturday, which is the correct day right now. Yes, I'm working on a Saturday. But here we jump. Oh, I guess it was Sunday. I didn't even look. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, so that's the quick jump of the day. Now you did notice that the time is setting while you're doing that. So you're going to want to set your day before you set the time, because you're going to have to go through and screw it all up. Then once you have the day, you can go through forward and set the time. And you can see while I'm doing this, the day doesn't quick jump, right? Did you hear right there? That's where it engages the winding, and boom. That just wound it up a little bit, okay? So that's how that works. Now, the other thing that's different, aside from the skeletonization, is the case. The case is in steel, and the lugs are different. So normally the case has always been in titanium on these, and the lugs are sort of like a proprietary lug design that comes down and around. And these are just normal lugs. And because of the different material, and I don't know if it actually has to do with the lug change, but certainly the material change, the watch is thinner, considerably thinner than the titanium version. And I think it serves to give a really cool effect to this watch. You'll see it when it's on the wrist, but it's very slim, and yet you still have a very cool three-dimensionality to the skeletonization and the wheels. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in that. Now this watch came with 3 straps. It comes on this kind of suede gray strap, which I really like because it gives it this monochromatic look, and it makes it a little bit more unique within my collection. I don't have an all gray piece, right? But it also comes with a brown strap that I believe is shell cordovan, which is super nice. And if I was going to wear, I think if I had fewer watches, or if I was going to wear this more often, I may go with that. It provides some contrast and looks cool. But I have plenty of watches with brown straps. And it also comes with a black kind of Velcro-y Kevlar nylon type of thing, which gives it a much more sporty look, and I think it's probably the most comfortable to wear it on. I wear my Type 5 on the Velcro strap, and I love it. So let me show you the watch on the wrist, and you can see what I'm talking about regarding the thinness. It's also not a big watch. I forgot to check exactly how big, but I think it's 40 millimeters, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to bother with this here, but you can see the lugs are fairly long, actually, for the size of the watch, so it does kind of fill up the wrist, but the watch itself is very slim and not huge, and I think gives a really neat effect on the wrist. It's kind of understated, but it's very cool, and it'll definitely catch people's eyes. So again, this is the Type 1H from Ressence for Hodinkee. It's a 20-piece limited edition, and it sort of caused a big stir recently as it sold out in 15 minutes and continued the Hodinkee juggernaut. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and check in with me on Instagram and on my site. Thanks.